Government kyerina okunnyonnyola mu kalulu k'e Kawempe okuba bakandidate bonna abeesimbyewo sofa abaagala okwesimbawo basiraamu therefore batujju etteeka akalulu kano bakakolera mu tteeka eriyitibwa Parliamentary Elections Act ne wansi wa Constitution egamba nti wateekwa okubeerawo mu lufuutifuuti kye bayita free atmosphere. Tuteekawo mbeera yakutiisa abantu basobole okulonda omuntu anaabakiikirira mu mbeera yakwagala kweyagalira. Ku nomination bakandidate walidde engwala esaati oziyuzizza okubya abantu amasasi naye nga goga nti oteekateeka kulonda. Jaati yanonyeeyo ki? Ng'ovuddeko be baakubya ab'amawulire tutandikire ku jaati yadde enonyeeyo ki? Then katugende tutunuulire abaakubiddwa baabalanze ki? Naye ng'era wadde okisuubira gwe bw'otwala jaati mu kalulu oba ogisuubira kola ki? Kuba jaati bagitendeka nga amagye genda kulwana n'abatujju. Kati bagitibulooyinze ne bagaba abatujju baabo. Kiki wadde osuubira jaati okukola? Kuba si mulimo gwayo ogenda mu kulonda okuli sivo nga kuno. Okusooka Parliament mulimu ebintu byagenda ng'enafuya. Bwe bagamba nti gavumenti yimirire oyogere, buli minisita aliwo oba wa byennyanja oba wa kasooli ng'ayimirira. Kati baati kino ow'ebyobusuubuzi ebyokulonda byansalinga Nganda. Kyova mbadde mbabuuza nti baati yafuuse gavumenti olw'okuba yakeera wano okusimanya wa administrator alinayo byakola kuba yasooka wano. Buli babuuza gavumenti yayimirira. Kino minisita wa internal affairs abadde alina okujja n'annyonnyola gavumenti jaati yatuuse eti ogenda mu kalulu k'e Kawempe. Kuba be baakubye was a consequence. Bw'osanga amagye nga bagadiployinze bye gakola birabira by'amagye. Kati kye balina okunnyonnyola jaati ekola ki mu kalulu. Era demandi yaffe eteekwa kuba ya jaati kuva mu kalulu. Bana abajja nga bakwese feesi zaabwe olumu nga bagyeko n'amanya bakikola mu bugenderevu. Kuba buli muntu kinnoomu duli etteeka wali owaabira gavumenti Attorney General ne bakulirira nga gavumenti. Naye kati etteeka eryaleetebwa wano ne Bonwagaba erya Anti-Torture Act osobola okuwaabira omusirikale kinnoomu ng'akubye obeera omwetegereza. Kyova n'aba baleeta naye nga kirimu emirundi ebiri okwewala okubawaabira naye n'okuba nga bamanyi nti kye bazze okukola bazze kukola kikyamu. Kuba omuntu bw'osanga ow'amawulire ng'alina kamera n'omukuba lwaki oba omukuba tuyagala agenda mu kamera ensi ekulabe ng'okola ekikolwa eky'obutujju. Kuba kyokola ekiba kiri mu mateeka otyaki kamera okukwata. Wali badde osanyuka na busanyusi n'osimayiringa nga bakukwata. Naye bajja nga be batumye ate ne mu Kebere Police Act omupoliisi bagamba nti ossa mu nkola oda ya mukama wo ng'eri lawful. Mukama otasobola nti kuba omuntu oyo essasi nga mulanga bwerere n'okuba essasi. So kati abapoliisi bano bajja bulungi nga bamanyi nti bazze kumenya mateeka kyebava bakweka amaaso kyebava batandikira ku b'amawulire mu bugenderevu. Ow'amawulire ekimukubya kyova ne balumba Parliament wano basooka kugalira b'amawulire mu conference hall olwo ne balyoka baleeta SFC speaker n'agamba nti baani abazze wano nange saategedde. So aw'amawulire bamufuula tajiri kuba kibagenda okukola kikyamu era bakimanyi nti bagenda kukola kikyamu. Wano we tugenda bayirawo mu biseera by'okulonda ab'amawulire buli omu yenyweze. Okulonda okuze kubaawo olumu basooka kugoba ab'amawulire b'ebweru. Njukira wano nga Kabushe ng'agobye ab'amawulire ab'ebitongole by'amawulire ab'ebweru nga Broadcasting Council ne UCC zandise okubasaba license wajja otya okukolera wano amawulire. Kati awo otandise okugenda awo kubanga ab'amawulire UCC essa mu nkola etteeka erya UCC Act, Uganda Communications Commission. Olina kuleeta oli w'ogambira nti wano wakoze ensobi. Naye nalaba okusooka wano Parliament ab'NRM nga ne speaker mwali bw'oyogera ku linnya lya Museveni oba erya mutabani we bawulira bameze n'olutiko. Muhoozi yasooka n'agamba nti ab'amawulire bano mbaagala bakuŋŋaanya ate mujje mangu ate atajje ngenda kusazaamu license. Enkeera UCC ne bayita. Kati byonna byonna byolaba UCC bagikozesa bukozesa naye nga abaagala okufulugunya ab'amawulire Muhoozi ne taata we. Ate nga Muhoozi yabeewere yagaba agende Rwanda bamuwandikako bulungi naye Uganda bamuwandikako be mulinde lwana ayingira obuyinza. So kati tuyingidde phase buli omu gy'ateeka okwegendereza oba oli w'amawulire oba oli muwagizi kubanga olwadde bakuba na lukola bakubiddemu n'abawagizi tebeesimbyewo basajja batu ne bazeeka n'ebisago. All the security people who are deployed, they are aware that what they are asking them to do is unlawful. Even when you read the Police Act, a policeman cannot blame his deployment and deploying officer because you are only instructed to implement lawful order. That's why if the orders are unlawful, they first remove name tags and then mask themselves. I saw when Dr. Besigye was in Nakawa. He was looking like a chimpanzee. The rubber stuff he had put on his head. The intention is, first of all, they don't want to be held individually liable as the Anti-Torture Act says. But also, they also have communities. You cannot be the one beating people and then you return to your village. There are also now international sanctions. So people are just covering their back so that when you ask me to go and do the wrong thing, at least the institution is going to be general on the institution, not on individuals. So they do it deliberately.
Weesiimye mattu oli wa mukisa okukira abalala. Omugugu gw'ebizibu by'ettaka gukutikuddwa Brand Property Services Limited ku lw'ettaka eritaliiko nkaayana. Ennyumba eziwedde okuzimbibwa wamu n'ez'okupangisa, apartments ez'okupangisa wamu n'okugula mu mawanga ag'enjawulo okuli Uganda, Kenya, Bungereza, Dubai, America wamu ne Canada. Okuddaabiriza ennyumba oba ebizimbe byo, property management n'abasaveya abakugu abataakufere. Twekwate ku nsonga zonna ezekuusa ku by'ettaka nga kw'otadde n'okugobera ku kyapa kyo. Kati pazo y'eby'ettaka ebadde kukaluubiriza egonjoddwa bw'okwataganye naffe. Tukubire ku noti 703 noti 79 oba noti 773 noti oba otusange ku MT House omwaliiro ogusooka room 5 ewazana ku Entebbe Road okuliraana ekizimbe kya Muguluma Empire. Tukyalireko ne ku website yaffe www.brandpro.co.ug. Brand Pro Property Services Limited, tutuukiriza birooto.
JAT is Joint Anti-Terrorism Task Force. So that group is meant to carry out operations against terrorists. That was the reason why it was put in place. But as is the case with so many other issues, yeah, you see SFC being involved in arresting people, military people. Sometimes it is people who are not in any military attire or police or whatever the case might be. They are in ordinary clothes. They are driving ordinary cars. They pick up people, put them in those drones, beat them up, and then tomorrow somebody is charged and taken to court. And you say, but now, so who is this who conducted the arrest? And that's why we call them goons, because you're not identifiable. So when you have a total breakage of institutions, that's what you get. Because I did ask on the floor, what is JAT doing in by-elections? What is their exact role? Because again, their training, their background is to deal with terrorists. And that's why they came on people and descended on them and beat them to pulp. The journalist lost his eye, he's grappling with that, and many other people and so on. This is the fellow who had a camera. But because that's their preoccupation, that's what they're trying to do. Go and deal with terrorists, And so they descended on people and beat them up. Today I saw the NRM flag bearer, one Farida Nambi Chigongo. She held a procession to nomination, held a procession from nomination to where she went and held a rally, Kawempe Mbogo. Our candidate, Luimba Zinalukola Elias, immediately after nomination, as soon as he got out of there, he didn't even take a couple of meter walks. He was assaulted, picked up, beaten up, and that's when the journalists were beaten up too. And so you think about these double standards and you wonder whether all manner of shame has been washed off these people, because you can have a semblance, a scintilla of shame, even when you're doing very goofy things, but they no longer have any of that. Yeah, so it's unfortunate what we see happening, but as I did put it on the floor, we want answers. What is the exact role of JAT? We want to know. Is it the new police outfit that is meant to keep law and order? What's their modus operandi? How do they keep law and order? Do you go descend on people and beat them up, including journalists? Who is commanding them? What are the instructions that have been given to them? All of these are things that we need answers to. But like I'm saying, when you have breakage of institutions, anybody and everybody does whatever it is that they get to do. I think where somebody cannot be identified, and that's why they do it deliberately. They'll remove their name tags, they'll not have a name tag, and then they'll wear these scary, ominous masks. You know, those that people see in horror movies and so on. And so they're descending on people and beating them up. I think in this case, it would have to be the Attorney General soon, because these are government operatives. So if government cannot let out, and by the way, government can be pushed to eventually out the real actors in this. But from the onset, the Auditor General ought to be taken on. And I hope that some of these individuals, you know, can get to do that. We'll see how we support them to do that. But that they take on government. And then along the way, it is to say, but wait, we want personal responsibility for the people that did these things. Except if government is going to say that we send out people to go and kill, to go and beat up, and so on. But if government, as we normally hear them give an excuse, that no, there are a few errant officers, so we want them to tell us who are these errant officers, so that the law can deal with them personally. Mr. Museveni fears elections because he knows that in a free and fair election, he would struggle. And that's why, you know, people rejected him in 1980. People in his hometown, they rejected him for a parliamentary seat. He decided, I'll use violence because the people don't like me. He went to the bush. And so that's now what he uses every election cycle, because he knows the people rejected him a long time ago. That's why he'll use violence. That's why he'll use money. That's why he'll use, you know, intimidation, vote rigging, and so on. So where all those things do not work, where the money won't work and so on, they will descend on people and beat them up. Just look at the last election. It was like a military operation. And that has become one of the tools in his toolbox that he pulls out during election time, because he knows that, and we have challenged him. And we have said, let's go for a free and fair election. You say you're very popular. We challenge you to a free and fair election so that the people of Uganda get to decide. But he cannot do that because he knows that the people of Uganda are tired of the goofiness of this, his government. And that's why it will be violence meted out, and looks like they want to give this as starters of what the bigger picture will be like. But this is how countries descend into violence. And there are usually no winners in these situations. So government operatives might think they have an upper hand because they have the state machinery and so on. But once you push people against the wall with all of this violence, they could choose to retaliate. And that cannot be good for this country. You know, everybody becomes a loser. So they should not think that because they have the artillery and so on, they have a monopoly of violence. People can choose to get out of their normal element and do I don't know what. I hope we don't get there. But it looks like the regime keeps pushing the population to that level. Kyoleka obumenyi bw'amateeka n'obutagoberera institutions ekize ekibeerawo, kubanga ensangi zino tunuulira abantu abakwata. Gavumenti kyegamba nti okwabadde kukwata abantu arrests, naye ng'abagenzeeyo bali mu ngoye ezaaleeya, bakutte emmundu, batambulira emmotoka eza bulijjo ne bawamba omuntu ne bamuteeka mu drone ne bamukubaakuba, nga wayiseewo ennaku ne tulemerako ne tukuba kkerere ne bamutwala ku poliisi oba mu mbuga z'amateeka ng'atonya musaayi n'ebirala. N'ogamba bwe muba mwagala kukwata omuntu, lwaki temugoberera mateeka? Kati eggulo twabadde ekawe mu by election ne tulaba aba JAT, Joint Anti-Terrorism Task Force. Bano obuvunaanyizibwa bwabwe kugenda kulondoola na kukwata batujju terrorists. Kati obuzibu buli nti bw'obasindika mu bantu era bajja bayisanga abatujju. Kyovudde olaba baagudde ku bantu kandidate waffe Nalukoola ne bamuwalabula ne bamukubaakubawo ne bamugyawo, n'abantu abalala bangi bakwatiddwa, bangi bakubiddwa, omuli ne bannamawulire bangi bakubiddwa, naye yafunye ebisago ebyamaanyi omu Miracle Ibra. Eriiso lyonna baalyonoonye. Ono nga ayambadde bulungi ekiraga nti munnamawulire akutte kamera ne bamugwira ne bamukubakuba etali stop bullet bamanyi okwekwasa nti stop bullet yabadde ensobi bano bamugwiridde nga balina zibatuuni tebakubye walala wonna bakubye wano ku face kubanga aga nti kati omuntu ono twagala musaanyawo mumala naye nga kukoze eki ali mukola mulimu gwe nga munnamawulire naye olwokubanga bano oba oliawo ye training yaabwe bwe babasindika cooperation kubanga bo bakola ku batujju babasindika mu operation ndooza mitwe gyabwe egyo baba balaba nti kakati bano batusindisemu batujju tulina kubayisanga batujju kyobudola babeeyisiza nga babeeyisiza mbuuziza leero ku feewa parliament nga njagala gavumenti etubuulire abajjaati bakola ki mu kalulu by election ovunaanyizibwa obwabwe bwaki oba instructions zaki era nga babawadde instructions ki kubanga operation yonna wabeerawo komanda eyabatumye era nga ne instructions yazibawadde babawadde instructions ki ensonga ze tugenda ziremerako paka nga tutegedde kubanga abantu bano basazeewo okusigala nga banyigiriza bannayuganda nalabye olunaku olwaleero candidate wa NRM Farida Nambi Kigongo yagenza okwewandiisa n'atambulira mu luseregende lw'abantu ogenda okwewandiisa era mu kuvaayo n'atambulira mu procession oluseregende lw'abantu ng'agendeka Wempembogo kusaawa okuba lwaleye tewalabyeko bajjaati ababaddewo oba omuntu yenna infact abapoliisi aba trafficking ababagaidinga bulungi emmotoka zonna ne baziyimiriza bano bayitewo n'oluseregende lwabwe niyo olunaku olw'eggulufe kandi yetowaffe nalukoola ne mita tezaaweze nga yakafuluma ekitebe kya electoral commission oba munominatingidde abajjaati ne batandikira okuga ne weebuuza kiki exactly kye bagezaako okukola tugenda mu kalulu era nga kalulu akaggwa twakalaba abantu bangi battibwa bangi bawambibwa bangi ne batwalibwa mu makomera bangi baavaamu n'ebisago kubanga yalinga military operation Mwai Museveni ono akimanyi nti bannayuganda baamwetamwa kati kyovudde olaba abeekakako kozesa fujjo kubanga ne gyatandikira mu 8 abantu gyazaalibwa yeesimbawo eyo ku kifo ky'obumubaka ne bagaana omulonda infact mu kiseera ekyo balonda nakuteesa yali yeesimbyewo naye ne bagaana omuwa akalulu n'agaaka kati bano nja kubeekakako n'agenda mu nsiko kyovudde olaba kati ne buli kalulu akabeerawo bajja kukozesa ssente bagulirire bakabbe bateekinge n'ebirala naye okwongereza ku ekyo n'effujjo likolebwa ku bantu ng'ayagala abeekakeko ku mpaka kubanga amanyi tebamwagala bamukoowa kati ke kalulu oba oliawo era ketugendamu naye gavumenti eno erina okukimanya nti newankubadde yes be bamukwata mundu n'ebirala naye tuyinza kulowooza nti olwokubanga gw'olina ekyo ojja sigala ng'okola effujjo ku bantu abantu bayinza otutuuka ekiseera ne beerwanako tetwagala tutuukawo awo kubanga ebyo ebyonoona amawanga abantu ne bagamba nti naye ekimala lina effujjo nedda kubanga bwe tutuukawo awo ne bamukwata mundu bajja kubeera mu buzibu kubanga population y'abannayuganda ne bagamba nti nedda mututulugunyiza nnyo ekimala kiyinza okubeerawo ne beerwanako kati gavumenti newankubadde olina amamundu naki ebinaavaamu temubeeramu bawanguzi mu mbeera eyo simanyi obaawo baagala otwala bannayuganda kubanga ennyindo bweginyigiriza ennyo egy'omusaayi tetwagala tutuukawo awo ng'eggwanga ne gavumenti ndowooza ebeera esomooza bannayuganda katubanyigirize tubaliise akakanja tulabe munaakolawo ki tuleme kulinda bannayuganda kye banaakolawo weewaawo bannayuganda bagumiikiriza era bagumira bingi bayita mu bingi naye oba oliawo ekiseera kiyinza otutuuka ne beevaamu abantu bano kubanga bakimanyi nti bamenya mateeka kyovudde olaba basooka ne bajjako name tags infact abamu tebabeera bajja mu ngoye eza bulijjo ezaleeya bambadde galuvindi n'obukofiira bakutte emundu bavuga emmotoka eza bulijjo ne bakola effujjo kuba kakati awo ogenda gamba ani ono era nga beekwese kyovudde olaba ne bannamawulire babakuba bamu batumizaamu zi kamera zammwe ababeera mu uniform bajjako name tag ekiraga erinnya lye abalala ne bambala obukookolo buno obutiisa obulinga obuli mu zi horror movies tebaagala bategeerebwe kubanga bamanyi nti kye bakola kikyamu kimenya amateeka etteeka likkiriza omuntu okuba mu mbuga z'amateeka oyo ssekinnoomu aba mukozeeko effujjo. Kati otula bano beekweka oleme tegeera ani yankozeeko effujjo. Kati of course Attorney General yaba agenda okubiwoza kubanga Attorney General yabeera aliwo ku lwa gavumenti. Era nga kisobokera ddala ne mu process eyo gavumenti kooti n'egisoomooza nti kakati mutubuulire oba mu gavumenti mugamba nti mwete mukkiririza mu bumenyi bw'amateeka era abakola ebikolwa ebyo babikola bo nga bo. Kale mubatubuulire be baani abo abo abakozi b'effujjo twagala tubategeere ssekinnoomu ani yakomandinza operation eno ani yagikkiriza instructions zaabadde ki era ne bana abakoze effujjo eryo gwe bakukutumye nti kakati genda ogwire bannamawulire obakube genda osumule amasasi otemba otaabantu ogatunuze mu bantu. So ebyo byonna bisobola okubeerawo.
Abalungi abatuwuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tukyaddeko ewa Sheikh Ashraf Dembe.
Sebo nsanyusa okubalaba. Amannya agange nze Sheikh Ashraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tunywa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse nsobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala naneetaase enamba yange yeeno eri 0707363711 nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amanyago ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera. Olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Friday in the evening is when we will be looking for the moon. If it's sighted as you rightly said, our calendar begins at sunset. So that will be Ramadan fast. So I join you, Madam Speaker, in wishing Muslims a happy month of Ramadan. And also join you in congratulating former FDC youth, the Honorable
Chairman Youth League.
Yes, the Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa, for his new responsibility. I was looking at Mama Mbira there, and I remembered the day she was taken to Zira by this government. Madam Speaker, the point the Right Honorable Leader of Opposition made, I think the Minister has answered one leg. First, you called the government. I saw the Honorable Bahat standing. I don't know whether you become government by being here first, that you are the first in Parliament. But the point, Madam Speaker,
there's an order.
We are both FDCs.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I just want first of all to congratulate the Deputy Speaker for the achievement and the appointment. On the point of order, my brother, Honourable Ssemujju.
I want to look at your eyes. You know, you're covering your very beautiful eyes.
Right Honourable Speaker, my young brother here, Honourable Ssemujju Nganda Al-Hajj, is very much aware that I, Beatrice Atimanywa, Mama Mavira, I'm a member of the NRM. I contested, I'm a flag bearer, and I'm a serving minister in the government of the NRM. And he's alluding to his statement that I'm an FDC. Is he in order for him to continue dreaming that I'm still an FDC member when I'm NRM?
Honorable members, there's a saying: if you want to determine your destiny, forget about the past. much as the Deputy Speaker was in the Youth League, is in NRM. He's in NRM and is the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, endorsed by none other than NRM party. So, having been there, forget my past. Let's look at the future.
Madam Speaker, that you are also in FDC, I will forget.
You forget.
Since you have instructed me.
Actually, I have not been, I was there and I left there. I don't regret leaving.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I take your counsel, I will forget. But the question Honorable Government was answering, the leader of opposition singled out the journalist, but the point he was making was about deployment of JAT, Joint Anti-Terrorism, to deal with issues of election that are not terrorism. That's what you must answer as government. Why must you have joint anti-terrorism? Because, Madam Speaker, we all have videos of a NUP candidate being grabbed, tearing his shirt, beating people who were with him. The journalist was just unlucky that he was severely beaten. But if anyone wants, I have these videos here, we can play them, of jet beating, shooting. That's what governments must answer. Since when did the elections become terrorism? That you must deploy joint anti-terrorism. I thought that the Honorable Bahati, who by arriving early in Parliament has become permanent in the government. Each time they call government, he stands up. And I was about, Madam Speaker, to complain because the front bench is full of all the junior ministers.
There is an order.
I think we need to take this Parliament seriously, and really raise, when we are raising issues, Madam Speaker, because these are issues that affect the people of Uganda, and we find solutions. We don't dramatize them, pick them sarcastically. Madam Speaker is a honorable member, Ssemujju, Nganda, in order to assume that when I stand here to speak on behalf of the Prime Minister, I'm just speaking because I came early, that you are not aware that I'm here to represent government is in order.
House of jokes. As far as I know, I have a written communication delegating Honorable Bahati to be a leader of government business. I have it, and once it is written to me, I don't have to come and announce it to whoever wants to hear. So he's acting as a leader of government business. What matters here is what is being said. The issue of deployment of JAT, which we have said we are going to check. You should check and report back to the House. Okay?
And Bahati, you know, we know each other.
Honorable Bahati.
Honorable Bahati. I am just sympathetic that every day you are the government and every day you come early. I am actually giving you credit.
Honorable Bahati was voted in to come to be in this parliament. If you're not good at timekeeping, don't infect Honorable Bahati. Honorable Bahati is always here and is here earlier than anybody. Okay?
So finally, Madam Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, his elevation gives Uganda a good name, as you have rightly observed. But as the leader of opposition also observed, this Uganda keeps deadening itself. You have had now media managers, MDs, being added to the Uganda Communications Commission. After General Muhoozi tweeted that he's now in charge of media, they will receive me. The following day, they are being summoned. The outside is very, very careful.
Honorable Ssemujju, not Seungu. Seungu is Catholic. Honorable Ssemujju Ibrahim, can't you ever, for once, finish what you want to present in the House, what you want to deliberate upon, without mentioning a name from the first family?
I can, Madam Speaker, if the first family is still being in charge of Uganda.
Are they here for you to discuss about them? If somebody was here, I have no problem with discussing a person who is here. Let's get serious.
Yeah, but Madam Speaker, even the one who is supposed to be here has never stepped here. The Minister for Education, has she ever stepped here?
Okay.
But the point is about the media.
Honorable Minister, I have Honorable Gwang here, who is the Minister of Education, a State Minister of Education and Sports. So stop saying that there is no Minister of Education here. Next item. Yes, Lillian.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Right, Honorable Speaker, wouldn't it be procedurally right if this House grants Ssemujju an opportunity to Honorable Ssemujju Nganda an opportunity to maybe meet and interact with the members of the first family directly, so that we can spare time of this Parliament to discuss other issues?
On my communication.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to firstly join in wishing our Muslim brothers and sisters a wonderful holy month of Ramadan. Honorable, I also want to appreciate the update you've given to us about the Deputy Speaker. You see, this is a beautiful country. There's a lot of good about our country that we need to tap into. The challenge is that there are also those who are always trying to make sure that a lot more of the bad is out there, and yet there is good about this country. Honorable Speaker, before coming here, I passed by hospital.
Honorable members, first join me in congratulating the Speaker. The deputy.
We did, and we joined in again.
I didn't hear you must congratulate the Deputy Speaker. This is a big achievement for this Parliament. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, we do send our congratulations to the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, and we shall also reach out to him individually in that regard. Honorable Speaker, was saying that before I came to the House this afternoon, I passed by hospital to visit a journalist called Miracle Ibra. He's a top television journalist who was brutalized yesterday. His eye was shattered. Yesterday we went for the nomination of my party's candidate, one Arias Luimbazi Nalukola, for the Kiwamba North by-election. Honorable Speaker, after the nomination,
Switch on. Switch on.
Honorable Speaker, the candidate was assaulted, taken away. A couple of people were picked up and others brutalized. This particular journalist was descended onto by men in JAT uniform. JAT is Joint Anti-Terrorist Task Force. These are people who are meant to go out there
and deal with terrorists. They descended on this journalist who was fully branded as a journalist with his camera and beat him up with batons, shattered his eye and broke bones around his face. The doctors are not sure that his eye will see again, whether it will recover. They are struggling to deal with that situation. Honorable Speaker, one, I think government needs to tell us what the exact role of JAT is. I don't know what they're doing in a by-election, but also, what are we doing going after journalists doing their job? The other day, the Right Honorable Prime Minister said that I normally make government look bad. And then she actually used the word that is not in the English dictionary. She said, I'm always dirtying government. But there are things that government does that makes it look dirty on its own without my help and without anyone's help. I don't even know if the Minister for Information and government generally has reached out to this journalist to establish the goings on and ensure that he gets proper treatment. Honorable Speaker, we have got laws in this country. For the umpteenth time, I want to implore government to follow these laws. If it is keeping law and order, police has got to do that, and again, within the confines of the law. So we would want to understand what is JAT doing, being involved in such a process. Why are they picking up people, beating them up, beating up journalists who are doing their job as a journalist? Their weapon is a camera.
Government.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Right Honorable Prime Minister yesterday but one made a statement when the leader of opposition made a statement here. What he's saying, we sympathize with the person who has been injured, and also to note that some of these actions are not sanctioned by government, but also it is important, you can imagine now, it's important that when you come on the floor of the House, you come at least with some details so that we know where to start from. Like now, you are claiming that these people who beat this person are members of JAT. How can now government know at this material time whether this was a police person, whether it was a goon, or something else? So it's important, Madam Speaker, that we take, while this House is a place where we should represent our people, while this House is a place we should represent our people.
It is a place of record we need.
It's a place of record. It's a place of action. You are not going to come and say JAT people or police or military. We don't know, but we shall cross-check what happened.
Honorable, it is very, very unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate that whatever happened to the gentleman in hospital, that is regrettable. But what we need to find out, because nobody is above the law, what we need to find out, who in particular, because I believe there are other people, there were other journalists who were there. There could be somebody who could have taken a picture of the person who brutalized the patient. Let's have that information, and then we make a follow-up of that information, and we take action. I mean, government cannot sanction and say, go and brutalize so and so. Who is that person to be brutalized?
Government takes swift action against these fellows who operate outside the law. Then people will know you are cracking down. Now, regarding information about all of that, government came to this parliament and was appropriated billions of shillings to put CCTV cameras within town. So I'd expected government, through the Minister of State here, to say, we are going to immediately follow up this matter, because you have got CCTV cameras, as opposed to going on quick defense.
Honorable.
And I can Ambia Hospital is called Miracle Ibra.
Honorable, he who are beyond reasonable doubt. You have said it is the government and it is the judge. Please bring. I mean, we must put these people to where they belong. We must hold these people accountable. Because if it is true that these Chad people did all this, why would they beat that young man? Why? That is the question we are asking, why? And where did the incidents take place from? Kawempe. Honorable Minister, maybe you need to check it out with the Internal Affairs. If you have the cameras there, we could be able to find out.
And action will be taken because security agencies are supposed to protect the citizens of Uganda, the territorial integrity of the country. So we shall follow up, and certainly we shall visit also the journalist who was injured.
Take time off and visit the journalist who was beaten and give us a feedback, and we see how best can be handled. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have students.
I join you and my other colleagues in thanking the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker for the opportunity and the grace which he has attained in his career. Right Honourable Speaker, you have a lot on your table. On your plate, you have a lot. And the world and history might judge you if you were not to give opportunity to your deputy, the Right Honourable Speaker. You always give opportunity to members of Parliament to explore their best. And I believe by endorsing the Right Honourable Deputy Speaker, you have done your best. You have reminded us, Right Honourable Speaker, that on Friday, the Muslim brothers and sisters will start their Ramadan period, a moment of repositioning oneself to Allah, the Creator. On Wednesday, the Catholics, the Christians will also start the Lenten period, a period where the Word of God conscientizes us to mind a lot about human life, human values, and above all, that we must respect human lives. Right Honourable Speaker, it is very, very wrong to pretend to be right when you are wrong. Uganda is bleeding, and everywhere, people are groaning. Instead of being apologetic, we defend what is wrong. When are we going to defend wrong? When are we going to defend right and reject what is wrong? You see, Right Honourable Speaker, when we shall be entering that movement, Right Honourable Speaker,
switch on.
When we shall begin the Ramadan and the period of Lent, it is incumbent of us leaders. I'm happy that Uganda is now providing leadership to the rest of the world, and we need also to provide leadership to ourselves and to this country. As we enter this period of Ramadan and the Holy Lent, we need actually, one, to be mindful of our actions and to defend human values and rights of one another. Rights do come with obligations and responsibility. It is the responsibility of the government to protect the rights of the citizens of this country. It is my responsibility to protect your right and you also to protect my right. Secondly, it is an obligation also to respect one another. Therefore, we need to respect the law and respect one another and to promote the rights of others. Thank you.
Very clearly, you've come up. I am not saying you come back. Father, you know, it takes you to the story of Adam and Eve. When when God asked, Father, should I still continue?
Uganda Eyenkya.